A 3-year-old from Nebraska has given a brand new meaning to the term little drummer boy. Take a look.
Wow, 3 years old. His name is Remy, and he's wowing TikTok users after teaching himself how to drum several songs, including Little Drummer Boy. His parents say Remy works through the notes on his drum set, memorizing the sounds until he can string them together into a full melody. I mean, that's so impressive.
Very talented.
That does it for us tonight. We'll see you back here at 10.
Extra starts right now.
All right, welcome to Newsroom Live, Monday night, December 22nd, taking a live look on 6th Avenue. All the holiday lights, full display. What a beautiful time. All the excitement building here in Newsroom Live on our newsroom on the Upper East Side. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Another exciting night as we get ready to head into the holiday season, wrap it up, and head into 2026. Boy, we had a lot of news this year, didn't we? Welcome. Thanks for being with us. I'm Steve Lacey. Again, as I said, right here in the Fox 5 newsroom on the Upper East Side of New York. Let's take a look around, take a look at some of the lights, some of the traffic, of course. Lots of people getting ready to head out the door if they haven't already. Get to Grandma's house in time for Christmas. You can see Times Square. We've got a lot of tourists in town taking in the sights. This is the city. I have noticed a lot of people have already left. Tomorrow expected to be another busy morning, whether you're heading out on the road, rails, or flying. It is going to be busy, as you would expect. Taking a live look, these are all our options here in the Fox 5 newsroom, all the different things we have to choose from. We are going to start, though, on the holiday theme. Our Kendall Green is in Chelsea at a really remarkable light show. I don't know a heck of a lot about it, but he's going to fill in the details. Kendall, look at that. Wow, that is spectacular.
Steve, I keep getting distracted because I'm just looking around. It's like I'm in a projector room full of holiday lights and displays, man. When we came in here, this is our tech house, by the way. It's in Chelsea. When we came in here, we saw a bunch of families like just laying down, enjoying taking this in. And as cold as it is outside, in here, you're definitely going to get in a holiday spirit. But basically, folks come in here, you buy tickets on site or online, and they've been open for about a week now, and you can just come in and get immersed in this whole experience. It's a blend of like art and technology, and that's what they hope people take away from this. But I have the assistant manager here who just explains how much people enjoyed this. This is about, what, week one. How have people been taking this in so far?
People have been enjoying it, especially for families. So everybody's out, they're out of school, they're here now. So we got a lot of families. I call Sundays the family days. We come in, there's just a lot of kids and families run around and enjoy the place.
So they enjoy the place, but I guess they also learn something as well. I see this board, it kind of explains, I guess, the technology behind all the lights and art that's behind it.
Yeah, so depending on the installation, we'll have a few BTS videos and screens that give guests a little bit of insight onto what they're experiencing. So you get taken back through the studio's work performance and the 3D work that they're doing, and then how it translates over into what you're experiencing on the big screen.
So the programming and the brains behind the operation, you can kind of see some of that here.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And then you got some nice drinks you showed us a little bit earlier. So what's the last time people can come and check this out? I know it's a temporary deal.
So the last day for the show is January 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. And what's your favorite part of it?
My favorite part of it is people's experience, because you definitely have a lot of people who this is their first time experiencing something like this. I've had families come in where they're bringing their elderly grandmother or their grandparent to come in, and then this is not something that people grew up with, and so seeing something like this, you get to experience that through them, through their eyes and the sparkle and everything.
Nice, man. And I know you guys, y'all are open what times? Between 9 and 7, I want to say?
So currently, Sunday through Thursday, 12 to 7, Fridays 12 to 8, and Saturdays 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay, and I know you got to jet out, but thank you for making time for us, man. We appreciate you. We're going to enjoy this. I'm just going to grab me a seat, Steve, because this is nice. I don't want to pivot to the 10 o'clock story just yet, because, this is really fun, man. I'm just enjoying it. So I'm just going to sit here and take in these lights, Steve.
You deserve it. That is quite the light show, and as they said, it runs it through Sunday, so that's a lot of these holiday celebrations are up past the holiday, past New Year's. If you don't get a chance to get down there, Kendall, we will let you get your rest and get the full effect of that light show. Looks like something straight out of the 60s.
Yeah, and they're part of 3 locations that are going to be having like a New Year's Eve party, so this is one of those places folks can check out for sure.
Very cool. I love it. All right, Kendall Freeman, appreciate it. Thanks. And of course, we had some more breaking news today. Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani getting ready to take office. Of course, he is sworn in on January 1st. In this video, Bernie Sanders, who will be doing his second swearing in. So basically, once the clock strikes midnight, New Year's Eve into January 1st, Mamdani officially becomes mayor. At midnight, he gets sworn in by the state's Attorney General, Letitia James, and the next day, around noon or so, he's going to be sworn in by Bernie Sanders. And today they announced they're going to have a big block party type party event inauguration for people to come down and celebrate his election right by City Hall on Broadway, Lower Manhattan, where they do the Canyon of Heroes. If you've been to a giant Super Bowl parade, soccer, basketball, etc., that's where they're going to be having a big block party all day. They're telling people to get there early, to bundle up. There's not going to be a lot in the way of toilets or food. So come self-prepared, realize you're going to be standing around for several hours in potentially really cold weather, but that is where Zoran Mamdani is going to sort of take his people-powered campaign to the streets and thank his supporters as he is officially inaugurated on New Year's Day, starting right at 12:01 a.m. and then again later in the day with that ceremonial ceremony presided over by Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Well, Newsroom Live is just getting started. We're going to be right back in 2 minutes. Stay with us. We'll be right back. right, taking a look for all of our live cameras. This is 6th Avenue. Not too busy there right now. People may have already started making the getaway. It was a busy day on the road. It's going to be another busy day at the airports, roads, etc. We're going to talk to the points guy a little bit later about some of the delays, some of the airports that are expected to be particularly tough in our area. You know, it's never pretty good travel for the holidays, but some airlines and airports are worse than others. We will get the full dirt on exactly what to look forward to for your travel plans. If you have not left, we do appreciate you being with us here for Newsroom Live. Coming at you from our studio here on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, Fox 5 headquarters. All right, so we saw just a moment ago that Zohran Mamdani, of course, his inauguration is rapidly approaching. January 1st is the day he gets sworn in, right at midnight New Year's Eve into January 1st by the Attorney General, Letitia James. Then later on New Year's Day, he's going to have a ceremonial service presided over by Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. He's going to be allowing people to come and join a block party of sorts in Lower Manhattan, Broadway, the Canyon of Heroes. And we heard from him today more about some of the hires to his administration, some of his plans for his inauguration, his big celebration. So let's listen in and hear what he had to say.
Good afternoon, everyone. This campaign was built around a core belief, a government that prioritized working people instead of simply the wealthy and the well-connected could transform New Yorkers' day-to-day lives. That remains my defining goal in City Hall, to deliver our affordability agenda for those who have too long been forgotten by our politics, to make a dignified life a reality for each and every person who calls this city their home. But that mission, it's part of a larger purpose, which is to restore New Yorkers' faith in a democracy that many have long felt abandoned by. New Yorkers often associate government with an irrelevance to their day-to-day struggles, associated with the possibility only of meager results, small ideas, and even smaller follow-through, agendas that are quicker to say no rather than eager to get to yes. I want to write a different story from our City Hall, a story of ambition, of reinvention, where working people know that they have fierce champions at every level of government and know that they can turn to those fortunate enough to serve them. Few agencies hold transformative power more than DCWP and are more ready to be supercharged to actually work for New Yorkers and address their concerns. There's not a single New Yorker, frankly, whose life is untouched by DCWP. Whether you are a consumer, a small business owner, an employee, the DCWP has the ability and remit to stand up for your rights and to fight predatory practices across the 5 boroughs. I want the next commissioner of this great agency to approach their role with a track record of achievement and an agenda of imagination, someone unafraid to take on entrenched interests. In Sam Levine, that is exactly the kind of leadership New Yorkers will get. Sam's pedigree is undeniable. From 2021 until this January, he served as the director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protections, leading many of these same efforts on a national scale. What he achieved is not only remarkable, it has made measurable differences in the lives of millions of Americans. We pay less in junk fees, avoid deceitful subscription traps, trust that our data has been safeguarded, and are exposed to far less illegal telemarketing thanks to Sam's work. Before leading the Bureau of Consumer Protections, Sam advised FTC Commissioner Rohit Chopra and worked for the Illinois Attorney General, ensuring that those who were often forgotten not only had someone who would protect them, but also championing their struggles. Proud to be standing here appointing Sam to this role because of his experience leading work that restores people's trust in government, not because it is something of only a day-to-day importance, but frankly because this is part of the long-term objectives and goals of our government and what government should aspire to everywhere. Sam will work alongside our Deputy Mayor for Economic Justice, Julie Su, to protect New York City's 80,000 deliveristas who are as New York City as it gets. He will enforce the laws we have on the books now for consumers and workers alike. He will make DCWP a force to be reckoned with, one that refuses to allow corporations to treat their employees as expendable. When he succeeds, that success will be felt in a city that is vibrant with flourishing small businesses, in markets full of people who can afford to buy gifts and goods for themselves and their loved ones, in workers who know that their leaders, in fact, have their backs, and in an economy that is fairer and more accessible for all. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, Mayor Lett.
Very well.
Thank you, Mayor Lett, for the opportunity to serve as your next commissioner.
All right, that
of the
is
Department of Consumer
Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani announcing Sam Levine as new head of the Department of Worker Protection. Keep people safe from scams, workers, make sure they're paid what they are owed, etc. This was a big announcement today, along with news of his inauguration that is going to take place, including a big block party down by City Hall, Broadway, the Canyon of Heroes, all part of his affordability agenda. So we continue to see more people put in place. And Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani's administration, as his inauguration is rapidly approaching, less than 2 weeks. Once the ball drops on New Year's Eve, he gets sworn into office by the Attorney General, Letitia James. The next day, we have a ceremonial service presided over by Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Of course, a lot of people getting ready to hit the road. If you have not already, could be interesting out there tomorrow. We've got some weather potentially on the way, depending how far north and west you're going. Nick's standing by. We're going to get into that. Much more in just a minute. Newsroom Live when it returns. All right, welcome back. Newsroom Live, 7:19 here on the East Coast. Let me get this microphone back on my tie. What do you say about that?
I think by now you know how to do
You know, I'm still getting the hang of this whole broadcasting thing 25 years in. Oh, right. This is Galveston, Texas. We are looking at the scene of a plane crash. We don't know all the details right now. We don't know much, but we do know 8 people were on board the plane that crashed, Galveston, Texas. It appears it was a Mexican military airplane. So obviously in this day and age, that certainly is an interesting development. We don't know much more beyond that. You can see they have crews on scene, and we will continue to keep efforting more information on that as we return to Newsroom Live here on this Monday night, the Monday before Christmas. Lots of exciting stuff. People getting ready to leave. We know tomorrow's going to be kind of a mess.
Yeah, in the morning, sure.
This direction, north and west, right?
As
where
is
we
a
got
lot
some
of the
snow
times
coming
as the
down.
case. Yes,
Right.
exactly. So that's the area we're concerned with. And maybe 1, 2, 3 inches of snow over those areas. You can see that here in our futurecast computer model here. Again, we're going for about 1 to 3. That's North Jersey, Hudson Valley, interior Southern Connecticut, city and coast. Maybe a coating that's going to go over to rain. We see temperatures overnight are in the 20s in those colder suburbs, about 33 in Midtown. And And then it's going to warm up to about 40 by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon. So that'll change the snow over to rain pretty quickly for the city and the coast, but it just may stay snow longer and maybe mix with a little rain before it ends in those northern western suburbs. So still the morning commute is not going to be pretty, particularly again north and west. It'll be slippery and what have you.
I mean, I guess the good news is most people won't be commuting into the city, but they'll be going elsewhere.
Correct. And then still school, get to school for unless they
public
have a
schools,
delay.
tomorrow's the last day for that.
Exactly, but we'll see if they get delayed starts, that kind of thing. And who gets the white Christmas? You're going to have an inch of snow on the ground to do that, and so that'll be the northern suburbs. Yeah. Now, it's windy on Christmas Eve and dries out. Christmas Day, just a gathering of clouds. Later Friday, Steve, into Friday night, that storm bears a little more watching because that could produce a little more sizable snowfall for the area, but then it'll start to mix with a bit of rain on Saturday and then just rain for Sunday, so it'll kind of wash that
Gotcha.
all
So
away.
basically, if you don't live somewhere that is usually getting snow when nobody else is, you're probably going to be fine tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And again, the areas of concern would be those northern and western suburbs.
All right, so something bears in mind. A lot of people heading up towards New England and whatnot.
They are getting there for the holidays, right? And
part of the fun.
Again, for a white Christmas definition, you have to have an inch of snow on the ground on Christmas Day, so that won't happen for the city and the coast. But that's where our winter weather advisory, though, is North Jersey, Hudson Valley. So some of those areas may actually qualify for a white Christmas.
Yeah, I'm looking at
see.
Southwest Connecticut there, too. That's always a
Yep.
fun part of the
Fairfield
travel.
County, but notice it's not the coast, though, right? You got to go inland.
Oh, gotcha.
It doesn't include the coast.
All right, that doesn't hit 95.
Yes, exactly. It's north of Bridgeport there. So
that's good to know.
Here's the snow now. It's moving into western Pennsylvania, western New York State, so figure it gets here from west to east starting about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just in time for the commute.
Yeah.
So that'll be the problem with that.
I don't know. We haven't packed yet. I don't know what I'm thinking about tomorrow. It's going to be a day. It's going to be a day.
Well, that's always a challenge.
Part of the fun. Part of the fun. You got to keep a positive outlook on that.
I
All right.
like that.
Nick, we appreciate that.
Anytime.
We'll see you in the next hour and also, of course, at 10 with more on the travel forecast. And, of course, we've had a lot of news today. We saw a lot about the mayor's upcoming inauguration ceremony. We also heard from Cardinal Dolan, who was on Good Day New York this morning. We're going to play some of his interview as he prepares to leave his job as the Archbishop of New York. We are here in Newsroom Live, just getting started. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live this Monday night. I know everybody is busy getting ready for the holidays. The news never stops, so let's go through some of the big stories today. Nurses working at 12 private New York City hospitals have voted to authorize a strike if a new contract can't be reached by the end of the year. This is some video from a press conference earlier today. The New York State Nurses Association says 97% of nurses at the affected hospitals have approved the plan to strike. Now, contracts for more than 20,000 nurses are set to expire on December 31st. They're fighting for better pay, benefits, staffing levels. They say they're concerned that patient care is being put at risk. The League of Voluntary Hospitals and Homes of New York, which represents these hospitals, says the nurses are asking for more than a 33% increase in pay over 3 years, which is significantly higher than the 19.7% increase they got during their last deal 3 years ago. I do believe, do we have sound from that? All right, let's hear a little bit what the nurses had to say about the importance of their new contract.
Nurses, are we ready? Yes! Ready to strike? Yes! Good morning. My name is Nancy Higgins, and I'm a nurse at Maimonides Medical Center and the president of the New York State Nurses Association. I am here today with my NYSNA colleagues from 12 New York City hospitals, representing 20,000 nurses in Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. We are all elected union leaders, as well as frontline nurses who experience firsthand the conditions inside our hospitals. We work in large academic medical centers and also in safety net hospitals. And we are united to protect patient care with the federal attack on health care. New York City.
All right, there you have it. There is a representative for the 20,000 nurses who have voted to authorize a strike. Basically, they have until the end of the year to hash out a deal. They're fighting over pay, staffing, the usual issues that nurses are concerned with. When their contracts come up, they're looking for a jump in pay. The hospital owners saying what they're asking for is much more than the 3-year deal they signed back in 2022. So to be continued. Bottom line, December 31st, the deadline there for them to get something worked out. A wild story out of Kearny, New Jersey, where a man was killed by a bow and arrow. And this is, you can see the makeshift memorial. Now a man named Oscar Faju, who lives in Kearny, where this all unfolded, is accused of murder and aggravated arson. He's also charged with criminal weapons possession, and prosecutors say additional charges are expected. This is the burnt out shell of the house where he was finally taken into custody. Authorities say he surrendered after a standoff on Sunday afternoon, where he had holed up that night after being searched for by the police. And the police say he lit the place on fire before eventually coming out with his hands in the air. He has since been arrested again. The perpetrator's name, alleged perpetrator, Oscar Faju, who lives in Kearny. Just a wild situation there. He had been identified as a person of interest in the death investigation of a man killed again with a bow and arrow. Authorities say police initially responded to a report of an injured man near Kearny and Johnson Avenues. 45-year-old Pedro Criollo of Harrison, that's his name, who was shot and killed. Authorities tracked down Faju to his Kearny Avenue home. Heavily armed SWAT team responded after a tense standoff, which included a fire. He was taken into custody. And we do have some sound from people who live there who are, as you would imagine, shocked.
He's a scary person all the time. When you see him, you just run away. That's how I was looking at him. Because he had, you cannot walk next to his house, ever. You can see the line over there, that he did the line.
Yeah, just a horrifying situation. People we spoke to in Kearny say the victim had 2 daughters, and he was just coming home from work when he was shot and killed by a bow and arrow, of all things. Absolutely horrifying. All right, we're going to be right back with more Newsroom Live. Of course, everyone's talking about the big Powerball, that $1.5 billion plus jackpot. Now, the odds are we're not going to win that, but the reality is, as the baby boomers age out, there is going to be a lot of money handed down to their kids. Estate planning is essential. We're going to go deep on that next when we return to Newsroom Live. All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live. Looking at Fort Lee, New Jersey, the GW Bridge, obviously a very busy place this time of year, even more so than usual as people are getting ready, if they haven't already, to get out of town, head home for the holidays. We wish everybody safe travels. And of course, we've been talking a lot about that big Powerball jackpot. It's fun to dream, isn't it, when you think about potentially winning $1.5 billion. What would you do with it? How would you protect your wealth? But the reality is, a much more common scenario, which we're going to be seeing in the years to come, is baby boomers leaving literally trillions of dollars of their wealth to their kids. So we thought it might be interesting to talk to Ben Conard. He is the principal and portfolio manager at Carnegie Investment Counsel in Stamford, Connecticut, about the importance of estate planning. Ben, thanks so much for joining us. I do appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we've got, we know baby boomers have accumulated this massive pile of money. A lot of them, sort of got wealthy, a lot of them on their homes. They bought them for 40 grand 40 years ago. Now they're worth more than $1 million. They're getting ready to sort of make the plan to pass it down to their children. And this is something you have to be very deliberate and well thought out about. Walk us through the importance of not putting off planning for that day that, nobody wants to come, but you really have to get the paperwork right to make sure your heirs get all of what you intend to hand down to them.
Yeah, I mean, you need to plan properly. You need to let your heirs know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to plan to make sure that the money is directed in the way you want, and frankly, the money stays out of the government's hands as much as it can. And it's a seamless transaction to your heirs. And so it's planning and communication are really the keys.
How long does it take for a client of yours when you're going through that process? How long could someone who hasn't done this yet expect it to take? Is it a 6-month to a year process? Walk us through the timeline for getting your house in order.
It's a lot of it's client driven, to be honest. How much effort are they going to put in? How quickly do they want to turn over documents? And then it also becomes, how clear of a plan does the client have? Do they have a vision of how they want their money to go to their heirs? If they do, then you can get that plan in place pretty quickly with a motivated client.
And with so much of the wealth being driven by the rise in housing prices, I know it gets awful confusing very quickly. Say you've got 4 kids you're leaving the house to. Of course, they're all going to have different wants and needs. You really need to be explicit about spelling out what happens to that house in the event of your passing before you go, to avoid arguments and all sorts of unhappiness between the siblings as they sort of deal not only with your death, but trying to figure out what to do with what you've left behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an emotional time there dealing with your death. And so you want it structured the way you think it's most fair, most efficient, and basically that your family can execute and not squabble over for years and tie it down.
Yeah, walk us through maybe a checklist of 3 things every family should be planning for in the next year as we all try to get our house in order and do our New Year's resolutions. What are the 3 top things people should really be mindful of if they think this is a situation they're going to find themselves in the not so distant future?
Well, I think you have to be mindful of who you're working with. So you want a quality team of trusted advisors, a strong accountant, a good estate planning attorney, and a good investment advisor. These are all people that are experienced in doing something that's standard for them, but could be new for you. So you want a good team. Secondly, you want to determine what your goals are for the assets, how you want to pass them on to your heirs, how they want to receive them. What's the long-term strategy there? So once you have those goals in line, then you can sort of get everything else standardized. What's the best structure? How do I update my estate planning documents? And then more meaningful too is, how you can invest this money or how you invest the assets you plan to distribute over time.
And how often should you say you've done all that, but maybe it was a while ago? How often should you sort of look at the plan you made maybe a few years ago and just make sure everything's up to speed?
I would do an annual review. It doesn't mean you have to change anything, but annually just make sure your beneficiaries are up to date. There could be a new addition to the family. You want to make sure they're included in your will and your estate plan.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Ben, you want to follow the law, but you want to make sure as much of your money gets handed down to your relatives, right? Not the
Yep.
government, indeed. All right, Ben Connor, we do appreciate you joining us. We know it's close to the holidays. We appreciate you being with us here on Newsroom Live. Ben Connor, the Principal and Portfolio Manager at Carnegie Investment Counsel. You're based in Stamford, Connecticut. What's the best way to get in touch with you if someone wants to learn more?
You can go to our website, ping us through there, or you find our number and you can give us a ring too.
Very well. Sounds good to me, Ben. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, very good. All right, Ben. It's always important. You got to get that paperwork done right. You don't want any surprises at the last minute. All right, we are here on Newsroom Live. We're going to be right back. As I mentioned, Cardinal Dolan is stepping down, and we heard from him just this morning on Good Day New York. We're going to hear more from what he had to say on his way out as his job as Archbishop of New York comes to an end, and we get to see a new cardinal who will be joining us in the new year. All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live. Just drinking in the sights of the season. Beautiful on 6th Avenue, as always. You can see Radio City Music Hall in the upper right corner of your screen. Everybody getting in the holiday spirit. Just 3 days to go until Christmas. We appreciate being with us for Newsroom Live. Of course, one of the big developments of the past week or so has been that Cardinal Dolan, we know that he submitted his resignation at the age of 75, as he is required to do by church law, to the previous pope. The current pope finally accepted his resignation last week, and he was on Good Day New York this morning to talk about what's next for him and the church. Let's listen in.
I'm just going to get it off my chest. You know me. I was a little sad. I have to say, I was not really ready for this. I thought maybe he'd give you another few more years.
Rosanna and Dan, you know what makes me happy? Is that a lot of people have told me they're sad. That means a lot to me. Thank you for saying that.
Well, because I thought that you did such a beautiful job of bringing New York City together.
I loved it. Well, you sure have helped and invite me to the, you helped, this eggnog helped.
No, but I feel like, and maybe you can, also talk about this, that, you've had a lot on your plate, and that you've handled everything, and you still have, a lot of things that you have to accomplish before.
I hope so. I'm in good health, thank God. The knees bother me a bit. No, and I'm looking forward to that, Rosanna and Dan. I don't retire from the priesthood. I don't retire from being a bishop or a cardinal. I can leave aside a lot of stuff that I found burdensome, necessary. The budgets, the personnel, dealing with the lawyers, the meetings. I don't have to do that stuff now. I can do all the stuff I love. You were just asking me about Christmas. I'm going with the police department for Christmas Eve. I'll be at a prison tomorrow. Those are the kind of stuff I can do all the time, you know?
All the time, yeah.
And that's what I love. It's sort of like I'll get to be a parish priest again. And that's not bad. So you ain't getting rid of me.
That's
all
good.
right?
We
I'm
don't
going to
want
stick
to.
around. I'm going to be here. And this new guy is a gem. So I have to admit, like you, Rosanna, I was sort of sad. I knew it was coming, but I was sort of sad. I thought, oh, now what? What softened it is the gracious comments like you just made. Boy, we're sure going to miss you. And this guy is a humdinger.
He's good.
Oh, my Lord. You know what he said? We were only together a couple hours, and I'd already gotten to love him. And he said, you stay in this house. Yeah, and I said, no, this is the Archbishop's house. He said, well, will you still stay here and live near me? And I said, we're friends now. We wouldn't be if I lived here. So I said, we'll find someplace else to go.
It was interesting when you introduced him last week.
Mm-hmm.
He said that you have been so gracious and that he already had this great feeling for you. What should he know as he's walking into this situation? Because New York and being in this position in New York, I mean, there's nothing like it.
You know what I told him, Dan? Because he admitted, which only heightened the appreciation and admiration, he admitted he was very nervous. He said, I don't know if I'm up to this. I never thought I love being in Joliet. I love being in Chicago, but being Archbishop of New York, he said, I don't know if I'm up to it. And he said, I'm a little scared. Do you have any advice? I said, don't be scared. I said, the caricature of New York as this impersonal, mean, crabby, get out of my way city, it is dead wrong. I said, these are lovable, warm people. They will embrace you. You will embrace them. So you keep that up, Ron. And he said, thank you. I needed to hear that.
And along those lines, I mean, what do you see are the biggest challenges that he might face?
You know, so Dan, so any challenge you got, his challenges would be the same as mine were 17 years ago. Because the challenge for a church leader is always the same. It's the same that we've had since Pentecost Sunday. How do we introduce and invite people to follow the person of Jesus Christ? That's a big challenge. That's a challenge. You just had my buddy A.R. Bernard on the clip. That's what we all try to do. So that's the big challenge. Secondly, I said, but another challenge, we need to get people back to church, and which is happening. You guys are reporting that.
A lot of young people coming back to church, which is great.
So that's got to happen. I said we gotta boost the sacrament of marriage, because only 50% of our young people are getting married. We talk about a vocation started to the priesthood, that's for sure. That's another challenge he's got. There's also one to lifelong, life-giving, faithful, loving marriage. And we got to work on that. He agreed with all that. He said, bingo. We got, to use a Catholic word, and then there's some financial, the schools, the parishes.
It's been hard because so many people love their schools. I know you've had to streamline. You've streamlined some of the administrative offices. You're trying to raise money for the lawsuits.
That's right.
I mean, you've really had a lot on your plate.
That's a lot going on. You know what somebody told me, though, Rosanna and Dan? If your biggest problems are financial, you're a blessed person. When you think of that, all right? It's a problem, shortage of money and trying to save money and trying to use it in the proper directions. But if that's your biggest problem, rather than health or emotional stability or loneliness, you're in pretty good shape. Because a lot of people who are happy don't have that much money. A lot of people who have a lot of money aren't happy.
And I know, obviously, we're going to talk about the Christmas message this time of year. But one other question that I did want to ask you is the church's response to the lawsuits. And
this is better than the Today Show. The Today Show has eggnog, too. This gets the
I know.
Is that
Our
this gets the
There's a little something extra in there.
She was beating those eggs.
I didn't know what it was. She's obviously was adding something else besides eggs. Wow. Yeah. Marianne, you made this?
Very
what are you
tasty.
doing New Year's Eve? You want to come?
Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do after
February 6th?
Yeah.
I've already got a bunch.
All right, there you have it. Cardinal Dolan on his way out. Interesting perspective there. Health is wealth, basically, he said at the end there. He's excited to focus on his faith, leave some of the administrative work to his successor, the incoming Archbishop Ronald Hicks. He was giving some advice. He said, don't be scared. New Yorkers are great. Great advice. Anyone who's ever moved to New York can understand that feeling of trepidation and nervousness, but the outgoing Cardinal telling him, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. All right, we're going to be right back with more Newsroom Live in 2 minutes. We're going to talk to the points guy. He's going to give us some tips on the best ways to make your travel as painless as possible. everybody. If you haven't made the getaway, you are probably about to do it soon. It is the 22nd. If not, what are you waiting for? Time to head out on the roads. Doesn't look too bad tonight. Tomorrow is expected to be another probably slow travel day if you get on the roads. And of course, the airport's a whole other story. We've had all sorts of issues there. So with a look at what we should expect if you are flying, let's talk to Eric Rosen. He is the points guy joining us now. Eric, thanks so much for being with us.
Pleasure. Happy holidays.
All right, same to you. So it's always a bit of a journey. You never know what you're going to get when you go to the airports. Walk us through maybe the airport you want to avoid of our big three here, if there was one that you had to pick out.
Well, I hate to say this because I used to fly in and out of it quite frequently, but unfortunately, Newark looks like it has some of the most delayed routes in the U.S. That's not happening today, but just in general, and they tend to have a little bit of congestion there. That said, LaGuardia's runways are, I believe, the shortest in the area, so if any weather does set in, they typically get shut down first. So just stay on top of what's going on at your particular airport. A lot of their websites can tell you about delays and cancellations and stuff that are going on, and just make sure that you're up on the statuses of whatever your plans are.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. We don't have anything major on the East Coast, no blockbuster storms, but out west, a little bit of a different story this holiday season.
Absolutely. Well, I'm based in Los Angeles, and it went from sunny, it's already cloudy now, and we're going to have not one but two storms, it looks like, later this week, which could snarl air traffic up and down the coast, unfortunately. Because of that, I would say, you know, travelers are well advised to make sure you download your airline's app, make sure your notifications are turned on and your contact information is up to date, so that if your plans do change or there are delays or cancellations, you can be among the first to know. And then also take matters into your own hands a little bit. There are plenty of other great apps and sites, including Flighty, which is an app, and also a site called Flight Radar 24, and also Flight Aware, where you can, you know, periodically check the statuses of your flights. Sometimes they update their information faster than airlines actually get it to their passengers, so you can be on the jump and be one of the first people to call in and get alternate plans squared away before the rest of the folks on your flight figure out that there's an issue with it.
Sure, and you know, what about the IDs and stuff? We saw that Real ID deadline sort of come and go, and now they've basically made you can pay your way around that if you haven't dragged yourself to the DMV yet, right?
Sure. I mean, look, though, holiday travel is expensive enough. Who wants to spend an extra, what is it, $45
$45, I think, right? Yeah.
On top of that, just to get through the line. I'll say this, though, you know, if you also have TSA pre-check, make sure that that's showing on your boarding pass so that you can use those expedited lines. If you have Clear, make sure you can use those expedited lines. And then also, you can register for touchless ID with TSA pre-check. So if you have pre-check already, go on the TSA site, you can register, and that way you just sort of walk up to a camera, have your picture taken, and you're breezing through security. No fumbling for that license or passport or whatever it is. You can just be on your way as quickly as possible.
Yeah, makes sense. You don't want to fumble the bag at the last minute there. Be prepared.
Exactly.
It'll save you a lot of time when you get to the airport because you're going to be stressed out by the time you get there. Hopefully you get where you're going safe and sound and on schedule. Eric Rosen, the points guy, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. You got it. All right, approaching 8 o'clock here on Newsroom Live. Let's take a live look outside. Not too bad. The roads calming down. Of course, we've got another busy travel day ahead of us tomorrow, the 23rd, as we get ready for Christmas and New Year's holiday. Lots going on here in the city. As always, Newsroom Live will return in 2. Oh, what a glorious view, isn't it? Manhattan during the holidays doesn't get much more lovely than that. Looking at the Chrysler Building, 37 degrees here in the city. Weather's fine. Got a little potential for a little issue tomorrow if you're heading out. You can see plenty of people on the roads. It's always busy here in the city one way or another, though, as people are getting ready to head out for the holidays. I do want to give you a little update. At the top of the hour, we mentioned that this plane crash in Galveston, Texas. I've got some wire copy here. We are learning more. According to the AP, this was a small Mexican Navy plane transporting a 1-year-old medical patient along with 7 others. It crashed Monday near Galveston, killing at least 2 people. Emergency officials rescued 4 people and we're still searching for 2 that were inside the aircraft. So 8 people on board, 4 people have been rescued, and they are still looking for 2 more. They've rescued 2 others. The thing is, we don't know who were the soldiers, who was the patient, who were the parents, presumably. It's one of those medical flights, though, you know, where people come from Mexico to get health care in the U.S. A 1-year-old was on board that plane, so obviously, you know, just a terribly sad story taking shape. We don't have a lot of details right now, but again, that plane crashed Galveston, Texas, carrying people from Mexico to the U.S., including a 1-year-old who was coming to the States for some medical care. The incident remains under investigation. Additional info will be released as it becomes available, the sheriff's office said in a post on Facebook, adding that the public should avoid the area so emergency responders can work safely. So that is the update from Galveston, Texas. We're going to be right back with more Newsroom Live in 2 minutes, and then Sharon Crowley is going to join us from 8 to 9. We'll be right back. All right, the 22nd of December. This is the day you really want to freeze it all, soak it in, enjoy it. The holidays are all still, I get so sad when the holidays are over, don't you?
I know. Well, yeah, I think we need to be off, Steve. We need to enjoy it with our friends and family.
Indeed, indeed.
Although it's just great being here at Fox 5 on
Right,
Christmas
vacation's
week.
starting soon. This may or may not have been my last Newsroom Live of the year.
Oh, no.
But it's been great talking with you folks. I'm leaving you in Sharon Crowley's capable hands. We continue to find new ways to communicate with our viewers, which is great. That's what Newsroom Live is all about. Off the cuff, let it rip. We've got, I mean, it's the end of the year, but we're not on vacation from news. There's so much going on every day, it seems.
It's so busy, and we are going to fill you in on. You see all the screens they're looking at there, Steve. That's because
Lots to
we're
choose from.
Following news around the country. Hello. And there's Brian on keyboards giving us exciting new angles of our
got
newsroom,
it.
letting you know how things are made. All right, thanks, Steve.
Yes, thank you, Sharon.
All right, I'm stepping in. Hello. Thank you for joining us here on Newsroom Live. We appreciate it. Let's take a live look outside, Brian, once you frame me up there, because I want to tell our viewers what they can expect overnight, because it's going to be a messy morning commute, according to Nick Gregory, chief meteorologist, and also Audrey Puente was telling me about it around 4 o'clock today, too. So when you wake up, it could be snowy and slushy, depending on where you live. And we're going to have a live update from Nick Gregory coming up in just a few minutes. He'll time it all out for us and let us know what we can expect. It's also, I know we say this a lot, we usually say this around Thanksgiving, but it's another really busy travel week. In fact, I think people started leaving Saturday. We might not see them until the next year. Some people must have just taken the whole 2 weeks they've had it. There they are. Our Antoine Lewis was at the airport earlier today. Long lines at American, but long lines everywhere. And of course, as we get closer and closer to the holiday, there won't just be long lines at the airport, but there will be long lines on the road. Now, if you're traveling, if you're going to be flying, I know the inclination will be to wrap up the gifts and label them so that you're all set. But that doesn't work. You risk the TSA unwrapping those gifts to see what's in them on the way. So you may not want to do that. You're going to leave the gifts unwrapped. Just bring the wrapping with you, or the bags, or whatever it is, because they will be checking that. And in the hour coming up here, we're going to be talking to AAA, Robert St. Clair. He's going to update us on the best times to travel and the best ways to travel, whether it is a train, a plane, an automobile, on foot, or just staying home altogether. He's going to let us know what's going on. And as I said, we're going to be checking in on the weather very, very shortly here. Lots to tell you about today. President Trump again speaking from Mar-a-Lago today with a big announcement about naming some more ships after himself. And also got a lot of questions about what's going on in Venezuela and how we are tracking, and also about Jeffrey Epstein, the president really getting hit, asked why he didn't release all the documents, and there's some legal action as that regards as well. And he was asked about this picture. We're going to hear what he had to say about President Clinton, former President Clinton, seen in a picture in a hot tub with pictures, what looks like Ghislaine Maxwell and another young woman whose face was been redacted. So we're going to hear what President Trump has to say all about that. And we also have some updates from Mamdani. So he's going to be sworn in as New York City's next mayor. And he's already giving us a couple of details about what's going to happen. He's planning to have Letitia James swear him in, and then there's Senator Bernie Sanders is going to be there at the City Hall event. But he also wants lots of his supporters and lots of New Yorkers to join him. So he's going to have a street party of sorts and a block party in the Canyon of Heroes. Some of the events you need to RSVP and get a ticket for, and others events you can just show up. So you want to go to his website and find out all about that. And that, of course, happening December 31st into January 1st when he becomes New York City's next mayor. So we are going to check in on the weather in just a second. Let me look. I don't see Nick. All right. You want to text him and see if he'll come down from the Weather Center? Okay, great. He was my first guest I was planning, but that's okay because we roll with things around here and let you know what's happening. As I said, it is one of the busiest travel days of the year, and our Antoine Lewis was out at the airport earlier. Let's take a look at some of those pictures, and let's hear some from some travelers right now, if we can, Brian, because he interviewed a few folks who were at the airport packing their patience, as you always have to do, right? You don't think you have that? All right. That's all right. I can tell you. They were excited to be going off. There they are. He was at LaGuardia today, talking to travelers, getting a sense. What he did say is, well, it looks pretty calm right now. As we get closer to Christmas, things could, take a turn and get even slowed down, and especially tomorrow morning's weather could impact travel. But it's supposed to clear up after that, Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll see about that. And Brian's going to find the Nick's on his way down, so I don't have to make up what's going to happen. He's going to tell us directly. So Not to worry. Let's give a little look around the newsroom if we could right now, because one of the features of Newsroom Live is that we give you an opportunity. What you're looking at right now are screens from all over the country, feeds coming in from all over the country. You can see the White House and the U.S. Capitol. We usually take you there at some point. There you go. And we also have live feeds locally in the 5 boroughs, and we have some Christmas decorations to show you tonight and a whole bunch of other stuff. We try to keep you abreast of what is going on as we speak, live in the moment. We don't want you to have to wait until 10 o'clock to see it. We're going to give it to you right now. And of course, you can watch it on the Fox local app, and you can watch it on the Fox 5 NY YouTube channel, because we're always streaming with you. And I appreciate you joining. I'm Sharon Crowley, and I took over for Steve Lacey just so he can get ready to anchor our 10 o'clock news tonight on Channel 5, and we're on time, so hope you join us then. I've been working on a couple of projects for you for the last couple of weeks. They're going to run on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day in almost every show that we do, starting with Good Day New York. And it is a holiday special of finding faith, and we look at all faiths, and the stories are, they're not preachy, they're just about inspiration. So I hope you'll check it out. It's a half-hour show, and it airs at 9:30 on Christmas Eve in the morning, just as Good Day New York is ending, and then again at 12:30 and at 5:30 and at 6:30 and at 10:30, and then similarly on Christmas, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. So I hope you check it out. It's a lot of fun, and we went all over the Tri-State to get good stories to bring to you to make you feel good, because don't we all need to feel good? I feel like we do, especially this so close to Christmas. But we're going to take a quick break and show you some holiday lights. And when we come back, our chief meteorologist, Nick Gregory, will be joining me. There he is. Hi, Nick. The music puts me in the holiday spirit. It's a quiet week here in New York City, but not weather-wise. And welcome back to Newsroom Live. I'm Sharon Crowley, and Brian Kay on keyboards. And we can see, joining me now, my mystery guest, Nick Gregory is here.
Mr. Mystery Guest.
Yeah, Mr. Mystery Guest. I am so glad you're joining us, Nick, because I was trying to kind of like fake the weather. I'm like, I think something's happening tomorrow morning. but I want you to time it all out for us and let us know what we can expect in the next few hours.
With pleasure. So again, we have a little snow event. Emphasis is going to be on a little, so
Okay.
not a big storm, but it will be enough to create some havoc for the morning commute.
Okay.
Particularly again in the northern western suburbs. So here's the 7 days. So you see, we do have a snow to rain situation tomorrow for the city and coast. A little more snow inland. Christmas Eve day, windy and mid-40s, but sunshine. Christmas Day, not bad as clouds return. But later Friday saw that snow in the forecast. That's a little more of a significant storm potentially.
Starting on Friday.
Yeah, Friday afternoon
Okay.
and going into Saturday. It'll probably mix with or change to rain on Saturday at some point, but there could be a plowable snowfall before that happens. So,
Okay.
But it's early in the game, so we'll worry about that the closer we get to it. Let's get through tomorrow first. So in the pre-dawn hours, we'll see snow overspread.
Okay, so you might be waking up.
Yep, and so we do have, as you see, where the accumulating snows are going to be, right? It's in the northern and western suburbs. So North Jersey, Lower Hudson Valley, doesn't include Lower Westchester, interior Fairfield County, and Connecticut. And then again, the city and the coast are not in this because it'll be snow at the start, even in the city and the coast.
Okay.
Maybe just a little quick coating, half an inch in a few places, but it's going to go over to rain.
Okay.
And then inland, as you can see, it'll stay snow longer. So right now, the snow is still in western Pennsylvania and western New York, so it'll get here from west to east starting about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Like I said, just in time to mess up your morning commute.
Just in time if you're getting up early, which
yeah.
I am not getting up early for this reason, but I have family in Connecticut and family in New Jersey, so I think the ones in Connecticut are going to get more, right?
Well, it depends where in Connecticut. If they're near the
Okay.
coast, no. If they're up further north.
Yeah, they're further north.
Yeah, so northern Fairfield County, that's the area that's of concern.
Okay.
And parts of North Jersey as well. So again, you can see it's not a big storm. I have a little stripe of moisture there coming in from the west. So that's what we'll be on the lookout for. So I get to see here in our future cast, that should come up in just a moment, exactly where that rain snow line is. Here we go.
Oh,
so we'll
okay,
see.
good.
So again, 4 in the morning, there's the snow. See, it changes to rain, city and coast.
I see
and even
that.
mixes with a little rain inland towards the end.
Yeah.
But not before about 1 to 3 inches. Parts of North Jersey, Lower Hudson Valley, interior Fairfield County, and again, just maybe a coating for the city, little, not much, and then near the coast. So that means no white Christmas from New York
that
City.
is my next
I knew you were.
question.
I
saw it. You saw it.
I saw it in your eyes. But now look at our computer model. One of the computer models anyway. And so there's that 1 to 3 inches again. North Jersey. This is giving an inch to the city. I wouldn't count on that. But 1 to 3 North Jersey, Hudson Valley, interior Connecticut. So remember the rule: you have to have an inch of snow on the ground on Christmas Day to qualify it as a white Christmas.
Oh, look at that!
Oh, there's a little doodle like my dog.
Oh,
looks a little bit like my dog.
And that's a real storm.
Yeah,
that's folks. That's not happening tomorrow morning. Don't be deceived.
Well, not in New York City, but that's about a 2-inch snowfall there.
Yep.
So that will be happening in the
trackers.
northern suburbs there, right? That's what it'll look
All
like
right.
tomorrow morning. But
snow
again,
globe-y.
no white Christmas for the city and the coast this year.
So, Nick, I have other questions for you that are not weather related, and I was wondering if you could say, right, because we have Robert St. Clair from AAA on deck because he's going to talk to us about the travel and which day is the best day to travel and which time is the best day to travel and whether it's like, are you going anywhere for Christmas?
So, no, I'm staying locally. Christmas Eve. Christmas
Okay,
Day.
you're not going to get out on the roads with everybody else.
Nope.
They're coming
I'm
to
working,
you.
working tomorrow, then I'm off Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So,
All right.
we go to my brother's house Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
But he lives 5 blocks from me.
Okay.
It's like my big Fat Creek wedding. We all live near each other, right?
Is his name also Nick?
No. His name is Andre.
Andre. Okay.
Andre.
Well.
So we're going to his house Christmas Eve, and then everybody comes to our house Christmas Day. That's the tradition.
That's lovely. Well, I also have a very similar situation going to one house on Christmas Eve, another house on Christmas Day. I will not be streaming with you, but I'll be back again soon.
All right.
But I don't want you to go anywhere. Now, do you know why your parents picked your name, Nick?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to share?
Yes. So in Greek tradition, Greek custom, you get named after your grandparents.
Ah.
So my mother's father his name was Nicholas.
Nice.
So I got the name from him.
All right.
So I was named after my grandfather.
That's good. I was not named after anyone. I asked my mother, I'm the youngest of 5 children, so I feel certain that when she finally got to 5, she was like, I don't know. And so when I asked her, she's like, I had a friend in the 1st grade who was hilarious, so I decided to give you that name. So, it works. Yeah,
I mean, it's a nice name.
It's fine, But the reason I bring this up, Nick, is that the baby names are out for 2026. The most popular. I'm going to hold the list right here so you can't see.
Okay.
Do you
I'm way out of
have
play for
any
this.
idea what the most popular baby? There they are. The baby name for girls would be.
And again, I have 3 daughters, but you know,
And what are their names?
Well, they're in their 20s now.
I know, but what are
So
their
Anastasia,
names?
Valia,
Uh-huh.
and Ariana.
Okay, no, that's
I don't,
not
I
on
don't
the
think they
list.
made the top 10.
The top name is Mia. Emma is the second most popular name.
My niece's daughter's name is Emma.
And Sophia. I have a niece named Sophia. So, you know, that's a good one. Now, for the boys, this is very appropriate.
Okay.
The most popular boy's name is not Nick, I'm sorry to say.
That's okay.
It is Noah.
Oh.
You know, very biblical. Noah's
Okay.
Ark, you know,
Yeah.
all of that. And then Liam. That's a good Irish
Good
name.
Irish name.
Good Irish name. And Ethan. Actually.
She's a great reporter. She just can't do accents. Okay.
I can't. It's bad, and I can't sing either, but it won't stop me. Streaming with Sharon, unscripted.
What's after Liam?
Uncensored. Okay, after Liam is Ethan.
Ethan. Okay.
So there's no Brian on here either. So I guess we're all a little bit out of date.
Ethan's
Oh, Ethan's your son.
So
All right.
got your bases covered.
All right. Thank you for joining me this
Thank you.
evening,
Nice
and
to
we
be
look
here.
forward to waking up to a little bit of snow, and
Little
but
bit
not
of-
too bad.
exactly.
And we should watch next Friday, correct?
This coming Friday afternoon into Friday night.
Okay.
That was to be the next time frame for the next snow threat, and that one has a higher that potential of producing a plowable snow, as we would call it.
All right, very good. So the next name, also not on the most popular babies list, is Robert St. Clair. We're going to bring him in after we take a short break. He's with AAA, and he can tell us all the secrets we need to know. So keep it right here. You're watching Newsroom Live. Love it. We wish you a Merry Christmas here at Fox 5 and a Happy New Year, of course. We're going to have a new mayor in the new year. So much is going on, and there's the Statue of Liberty. And we are going to get some weather tomorrow morning, but it won't be too bad. It's going to start snowing, raining, depending on where you live, about 3 o'clock in the morning. Welcome back to Newsroom Live. I'm Sharon Crowley. Thanks so much for sticking around with us. We have a lot to tell you about, and this is one of, I'm going to double check my facts here, but this is one of the busiest travel times of the year. Maybe Thanksgiving is more, and whether you're on the road, whether you're at the airport, we're going to get the facts straight because Robert Clair with AAA is about to join us. Robert, come on in. What
Here
can
I
you
am.
Thank you. I appreciate your virtual background there. Is that the George Washington Bridge behind you?
That is the George Washington Bridge, and nothing virtual about it. I took that photo from Fort Lee Historic Park.
Oh,
And had it
nice.
enlarged.
Love
So
it.
yeah, that's a great big mural there.
So I used to live in New Jersey, and then when I was a child, we moved to Connecticut, but we used to hold our breath till we crossed the line in the middle of the, to go see Grandma in New York. So as soon as we saw the line, we could breathe again and whatever.
Yes. Like in the tunnel.
Exactly.
I love going through the tunnel and seeing that line there.
So,
New York, New Jersey.
So tell us, you were shaking your head. So tell us, is this one of the busiest travel times? Tell us what to expect as we get closer and closer to Christmas.
The year-end holidays, December 20th through January 1st, is without a doubt the busiest holiday travel period of the year. 122 million are traveling, and 89% of those, or roughly 90 million, are driving. And
wow,
9%, yeah, 90 million driving to their destination. So it is by far the busiest travel period of the year. Thanksgiving is a paltry 72, 73 million.
Oh,
but
okay.
This is 122 million. Yeah, it's the length. It's 13 days long, and the kids are out of school, so they get to be included. Excuse me, and that motivates a lot more people to take a trip.
Mm-hmm.
And so by far it's the busiest travel period of the year. And I should mention that every holiday that we do a projection for, and that's Memorial Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, and year-end holidays, every holiday this year has set a record as far as number of travelers are concerned. So
do you think it's the
people are
low
making up
gas
for lost
prices
time.
or just everything?
I think it was
reason?
the lockdowns during the pandemic that people were cooped up for a couple, 3 years, and now they're making up for lost time. It certainly helps that gasoline is cheap. Gasoline, let's see, the national average right now is $2.85 per gallon. That's 22 cents less than a month ago.
Wow,
so
that's
prices
great.
are falling. Yeah, and all the areas in the Tri-State are at $3 a gallon or less than $3 a gallon, except New York City, which is at $3.03, and that's falling rapidly as well. So when so many people are driving, gasoline is cheaper, and there's pent-up travel desire. It makes for a busy holiday travel period.
It sure does. So we visited our airports today, and I want you to tell people if they are planning to fly to see relatives, what are some things they really need to remember to do or not to do?
Booking the first flight of the day is best. That the plane is already at the airport when that happens, and so you don't have to worry about flight coming in that you have to get later on in the day. That's what happens. The first flight of the day, the plane is there. But if you're catching a flight later in the day, you might have to wait for the plane to arrive before you can get on it.
I got you.
The weather is a critical situation. I've been reading this report about next generation air traffic control, which is satellite based. Currently, we have a mix of old World War II radar based tracking technology and some satellite GPS based. But the committee, the Next Gen Advisory Committee, has selected the Northeast Corridor, and that's Washington, D.C., north to Boston, as a critical area.
It is.
And and who's right in the middle of that area? New York City.
That's right.
So, part of the report, if I remember correctly, says that roughly 75% of all nationwide air traffic control delays emanate from the New York area, from the Northeast Corridor. So the hub and spoke system that airlines use to schedule means that if the weather is bad here, it can ripple across the country, so New York sneezes and the whole country catches a cold.
Yes.
So flyers need to keep that in mind. Watch the weather, get the early flight, do not check your bag, use a carry-on, keep the app for your airline on your phone so you can be notified in real time if there's any problems, and get to the airport very, very early. It used to be 2 hours for a domestic flight. 3 hours for international. Add an hour to each. 3 hours for a domestic flight and 4 hours for an international flight.
For a domestic flight, get to the airport 3 hours early?
3 hours
I
early.
gotta call my brother. He always is one of those last minute guys.
What about? No, you can get in trouble that way, especially with the TSA lines that TSA are planning to screen. They're saying that the busiest days ever in airline history of screening the number of passengers are happening this year, some of the busiest days. So very busy.
And what about bringing Christmas gifts? Because a lot of people are traveling to see family and friends around the country. And of course, they want to bring with them what they want to give. And you're telling us, don't check your bag, don't risk it getting lost. Can you wrap your gifts?
Definitely not. Everything that I've seen has said that you should have the gifts unwrapped. The TSA personnel might want to delve into that gift and open the box and see what's in there. And if it's wrapped, well, that's it. So much for your nice wrapping paper. So it's best to not wrap it. I mean, it might spoil the surprise when you get to your destination and whoever you're planning to give the gift to gets to see it ahead of time. But that's the way it goes. For security's sake, that gift has to be unwrapped. And again, it's best to use carry-on luggage, so you're going to take that gift onto the plane with you.
Sometimes they make you check it, though, anyway. If too many people on the plane have a carry-on bag, they tell you it's full up. They'll check it for free, but they still tag it and do that right as you're about to board.
Yeah, that's on those full flights, and a lot of people are bringing stuff along. Some people might have animals, and that leads to part of the problem. Yeah, well, we got to take puppy along sometimes.
You said early in the morning, obviously, first flight out, best option. What, when we talked at Thanksgiving, obviously really busy on Wednesday before Thanksgiving and then really busy on the return Sunday. But now you're saying this really stretches 2 weeks. When do you expect, is it things that peak up and down, or how's it going to go in terms of the return? Is it just these couple of days that's going to be crazy, or is it going to last throughout the 10 days?
It's easier to talk about the days that will not be busy than to talk about the days that will be. So Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, minimal traffic is expected. All the other days, if you're driving, it's suggested that you get on the road before 11 a.m. So go home, get a good night's sleep, wake up super early and hit the road 6, 7 a.m. If you do that, if your destination is 200 miles away, that takes about 4 hours. You leave at 6 a.m., you'll be there at 10. And you will have avoided the aggravation of being stuck in a lot of traffic. But if you wait until 11, noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to probably hit a lot of traffic, and it's going to last well into the evening, maybe 5, 6, 7 p.m. So it's best to avoid those times. And some people suggest traveling later in the evening, and it's more difficult to drive when it's dark. I like daylight.
Yeah.
So I always recommend waking up early in the day. The sun comes up, around 7? Where's Nick? He can tell us when the sun comes
well,
up.
he can tell us. Yeah. I feel like I only know when the sun goes down. It's like 4:30. It's pitch dark, and you want to go to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Robert Sinclair, thank you for those important tips. I think it's very interesting. When we talked at Thanksgiving, you were urging people to leave on Thanksgiving, that if they really had somewhere to go, that was the best. Should people leave on, I know you said it was Christmas Eve, should they travel on Christmas Day? Is that better?
Sure. Yeah. New Year and Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, minimal traffic expected. Travel those days early in the morning. You should see minimal traffic, and that aggravation of being stuck in traffic is real bad.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I would recommend too that you have your vehicle checked before you hit the road.
Save us all something, right? So you don't break down in front of me, right?
Yeah, and this number is just really astounding. We're expecting 860,000 breakdowns, and that's just of AAA members nationwide. Flat tires, dead batteries, and people locking themselves out of their vehicles are the top items we are going to get calls for. And it's a very simple thing to check your tire pressure. That is the most absolutely important thing that you need to do as far as vehicle maintenance is concerned before you hit the road. Nick is talking about bad weather, snow, rain, those kind of things. If your windshield wipers are more than 6 months old, change them. 6 years, goodness. 6 months old, change them. Make sure you got plenty of windshield washer fluid.
I'm taking notes because I definitely need new windshield wipers for starters. But I'm gonna get on the Metro North, and I'm hoping to get on the Christmas train because one of the trains is decorated.
Oh
for
yeah,
Christmas.
they're nice.
Oh, fun. Yeah, no, it is fun. And then there's this really funny conductor who rhymes the whole way. But anyway, Metro North should be running, but they're running, I think, on holiday schedules, right?
Which will be fewer trains. Yeah.
And those are usually jam-packed too.
Yeah.
Robert St. Clair, I appreciate it. Did we miss anything? Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Safety, safety, safety. We are going into the time of year that is the worst as far as drunk driving, crashes, fatalities, and injuries are concerned. They usually happen at night between 6 p.m. and 2 o'clock in the morning. There's no excuse. A ride is as far away as your cell phone. Call a ride share. If you're going out and you're going to be drinking, have a sober driver designated, or take the ride share there and take the ride share back. I remember being in Tampa, Florida some years ago, and a taxi cab had a sign on the top that was very, very pertinent for this situation. It said, "Have you been drinking? Call me. I'm cheaper than a DUI." And getting busted for drunk driving is a pain. There's so many things going to happen. Your insurance is going to go up. You're going to have to go to court. You have to get lawyers. You pay fines, all of that. Plus, you could seriously hurt yourself or somebody else. And the number of fatalities and injuries that happen at this time of the year far outstrips the rest of the year in terms of just, let's say, average per day or night. And most of them are going to happen at night. Don't drink and drive. Don't drive impaired by alcohol, or more and more these days, marijuana. Don't do it.
All right. Good advice. Robert St. Clair with AAA. Thank you so much. Have a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. All the best to you and your family. Safe, 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 please.
All right. Will do. All right. Keep it right here on Newsroom Live. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and we'll be right back with much more on your headlines coming right up. And welcome back to Newsroom Live. There's a little behind the scenes for you. As I said, we are monitoring headlines around the world, around the country, and of course, right here in New York City as we get ready to celebrate Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And New York City is going to have a new mayor in the new year, among other things. It's a very exciting time here to be covering politics and all events here in New York City. So you guys heard earlier I was talking with a meteorologist, Nick Gregory, because we're going to have a little snow and slush when you wake up in the morning. Depending on where you live, it will probably turn over to rain. But you know, his name is Nick, and we were talking about baby names for 2026, and the lists are out. The most popular baby names are out. And to learn more about what those names are and why those names are so popular, I'm going to bring in, that's right, Colleen Slagan. She is a professional baby name consultant and author. Colleen, impressive. How did you become a baby name consultant?
I started posting about baby names when I was on maternity leave with my daughter a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I used to be a nurse and I had some virality, and here I am now working
I love
full-time
it.
baby name.
So remind our viewers, what is the most popular girl's name and the most popular boy's name for 2026?
All right, we have Mia for girls, which ousted Emma since 2017. And then we have Noah for boys, which ousted Liam.
Do they have any sense as to why those two? You know, sometimes you can trace it to a celebrity or to a politician or, you know, somebody's, I don't know. Why do you think those two names popped off the charts?
Yeah, well, you see, these names really stick around, these top 10 names, for a long time, and then you just see little movement every year. But the reason Mia, Emma, you can see the other top names, Sophia, Isabella, Olivia, they're very similar. They sound very similar. They all end in an A. They're very feminine, pretty classic. And for boys, people tend to be more risk averse. They want something more classic. So that's why you see Lucas, Ethan, Noah at the top of the list.
So I'm about to have a baby and I come to you because I don't know what to name my baby. So what do you tell your clients as we restart here? Brian's just working on it. Do you want me to pause, Brian? No, we can keep going, or you can answer. So what do you tell your clients? How do you give them advice on what name to pick?
I have to read the client and sort of what their style is. Are they wanting to go more classic, or are they wanting to go more bold? Do they have any family names they're trying to use? The biggest clues of their style are, what are their other kids' names and what names do they love but can't use for some reason? That gives me a really good sense of their style, and I can have a pretty good sense of what other names would suit their criteria.
That's so funny. So do you have like a running list of names?
I do have a long list of names. I wrote a baby name book that came out last year, so I have a whole book of names. But I also have all these categories on my computer. I have like 50 notes on my phone. I just collect them everywhere I go, or I write down names that stick out to me.
How do you, when you're talking to the clients, how do you get them to make a decision?
Yeah, that's the hardest part, especially getting two people to agree. Not as easy as it looks. I do feel like a therapist sometimes. You know, I think the person pushing out the baby should kind of get the veto power at the end of the day. Not everyone agrees with me on that. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, you just have to make the decision. And I tell people to go with their gut prior to when the baby comes out, because then there's a flood of hormones and the stress and you start second guessing. So sort of go with the name you are leaning towards before delivery, and just make sure you don't give too much weight to outside opinions.
Got it. Interesting. Right. There's usually a lot of family, and there are some people who basically, you know, don't want to tell their family what their choice is because they don't want to get those opinions in or hear, I don't like that name, or why'd you pick that one? So do you advise your clients, once they've made their decision, to keep it kind of just between mom and dad until the baby's born and you announce it?
That was not my style. I couldn't help but talk about it with everybody and anybody. My recommendation is usually to share it with like one trusted person where, you know, even if they say they don't like it, it's not going to be the end all be all for you, because there's definitely clients I work with where their family kind of ruined a name for them when they reacted to it. So I think it depends on your family, your relationship with your family. So I don't think it's a one size fits all, but I do recommend telling at least one person, because they might, you know, be like, oh, you know, the initials are going to be, you know, a curse word or something. They might point something out that you didn't think of. So I think it can be a good like gut check.
Her baby's name was Alexander. She was going to name him Alexander Sterling Schwezo, and she decided instead to name him Sterling Alexander Chorizo.
Great,
So if you're
great
watching,
pivot.
and now he's a grown man and, whatever, but it is true. You might not notice
My friend
that.
just had a Sterling 2 days ago. I think it's such a sweet name.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Any other advice for expectant parents, moms and dads out there, and they are scratching their head? I mean, a lot of people go tradition and they pick someone who's passed on or some family member's name that they like. Or in my mother's case, she just had a friend in the first grade, and that's how I got my name.
That's funny. I think it can be so fun to really dig into your family tree, like go deep to find some cool inspiration that you feel like a little bit tied to.
Yep.
There's so many concurrent trends happening at the same time, nature names, cowboy names. My personal favorite would be the vintage names. So that's another fun thing, is to go through like vintage books or look at the popular baby names from 100 years ago and get some inspiration there.
Yeah, I have a vintage name too. My middle name is Adelaide, or it's based on Adelaide.
Oh,
It's
I
Adele.
love that.
But, I think that people, when they're trying to figure out what to do, they definitely, I think, look toward their own family first and, any kind of heritage, if it's Irish heritage or Italian heritage,
Yes.
But I also have a coworker whose mother didn't like her name, so she didn't want her grandkids with that name. So, you just never know.
Right. I've heard that too. Like they want to use grandma's name, but grandma hates her name.
And I'll leave you with this. I like a last name too, maybe as a first name.
That is one of the biggest trends, I think, of the 2020s. Like people are loving, especially these plural surnames like Wells, Brooks, Miles, Rhodes. Those are really big right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thanks, Colleen. I hope you get some more clients. All right. Keep it right here. We're going to be back in just 2 minutes. We'll have much more for you. And Linda Schmidt's going to be joining us live, and she's going to tell us all about what we can expect as we get a new mayor of New York City. Keep it here. Merry Christmas, almost. Welcome back to Newsroom Live. You're looking at a Christmas tree right there on 6th Avenue. And now we're looking at another picture of the clouds in the sky because it's going to snow tomorrow, but not too bad. There's Brian on keyboards, wave. And we are, and I'm Sharon Crowley. Thanks for joining us. We're reporting to you from the Fox 5 Newsroom on the Upper East Side. A lot to get to today. Now, we're looking ahead not just to Christmas, but to New Year's, right? And we're going to have a new mayor here in New York City. Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani is going to be Mayor Mamdani, the social media savant, as I like to refer to him. Knocked out his competitors, more traditionalists, and he is vowing to bring fast, free buses to New York City. And if you ride buses in New York City, and I do, people have already kind of stopped paying the fare, as a matter of fact. But it's not legal yet, so don't do that. But anyway, yes, he's got a lot of promises that he's trying to do free childcare and free grocery stores in some of our neediest neighborhoods. And he's working with Governor Hochul on that. We'll see how far he gets. But let's talk a little bit about his inauguration for you here. Our Morgan McKay, our political reporter, talked with Mamdani today, and she reports that he is going to actually have 2 swearing-in ceremonies on January 1st. He's going to take his formal oath of office at midnight, which will be administered by State Attorney Letitia James. His location is private for now, but Mamdani's family will be joining him. And later in the day at 1 p.m., he's going to be sworn in by Senator Bernie Sanders on the steps of City Hall. The two are both Democratic socialists, as you know, as is Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And they, Sanders gave him a lot of advice. Another one of his mentees, of course, is AOC. So it will be the second swearing-in ceremony. And Sanders also swore in, if you recall, Mayor Bill de Blasio for his term. Now, what's interesting about this time is they're going to have at the Canyon of Heroes, Mamdani wants thousands of people to join, just regular New Yorkers. And there's 2 different events that we're going to find out some more details about. One of them you have to RSVP to kind of get closer in City Hall, and the other will be wide open to just anyone who wants to be there, and that'll all be on New Year's Day. So Mamdani's supporters and fans can join in the fun of the swearing-in ceremony. He wants to open it up to as many people as possible. And we're going to be hearing in just a short minute here from Linda Schmidt. I see her there. She's on Live U2. Do you see her, Brian? Linda, can you hear me okay? Hi.
I hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Looking good, looking good.
Oh, great.
So, Linda, before we get started, let's tell people, this is behind the scenes. Linda's in one of our E&G trucks, technology trucks, it's got editing camera. I know. How long have you been doing this, Sharon? You know what to call it? I think we call it a live truck, Sharon. And she has a photojournalist with her who's editing and putting her story together. So, Linda, I will stop yapping, and you tell us what to expect on New Year's Day for Mamdani's swearing in, and tell us where you are.
All right. Hi, Sharon. Yeah, we're in one of the Fox 5 SUVs, and this has all of our editing equipment in it. This is what we call our portable offices, because as journalists and when you're on television, you are in these vehicles. And I do have editor Gus Batista here with me. He's sitting over to my left. He's got a big smile on his face.
All right, well,
He's
tell him to
very
wave.
happy
Put
be
his
here
wave. Hey, Gus. Good to see you.
Wave. Can you wave in here? They want you to wave. Put your hand in there.
There it is.
Gus.
We call him No Fuss
Hello.
Gus, because he's a total professional.
That's right. Oh my God, the best. The best.
He is the best. He's the best.
So where we are right now, I don't know if you can see the little sliver over my right shoulder.
I see a sliver. I think that's City Hall.
Yeah, City Hall is all lit up. Yep, that's City Hall. So we are working on a story tonight about Zoran Mamdani, the mayor-elect, about his inauguration on January 1. Now, as you were just saying, Sharon, he's going to have 2 different ceremonies. The first is going to be at midnight, and that's State Attorney General Letitia James. She will administer the oath of office. And then U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders is going to swear the mayor in at 1 o'clock. The ceremony here starts 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So what they're going to be doing, though, and Zoran Mamdani, they have his team, they have a website, so you can wait a second. Why are they running the SOT? Are they running the SOT right now?
No, it's just B-roll, and it's just video of him. Yeah, don't worry. We can only hear you.
Okay, because I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm hearing the SOT. So, okay, so anyway, his team has a website, and you can get all of the details there about exactly what's going to be going on and what you're allowed to bring and what you're not allowed to bring. But this is the game plan here. This is the first time ever for a mayoral inauguration, they are having what they're calling a big block party. So from it's all along the Canyon of Heroes, which is, Broadway, and that's where you see all the ticker tape parades after, like, say, for example, the New York Liberty when they won their national championship.
We throw garbage on our
WNBA.
heroes. Sorry, that's what it is, right? No paper. Sorry.
Paper, whatever it is, it's a lot of fun and people enjoy it. So, and it goes from Battery Place and it comes up Broadway. And again, it's called the Canyon of Heroes to Chambers Street. And so what they are expecting here is that in addition to the 4,000 people who will have tickets to be on the steps of City Hall and in front of City Hall and in front of City Hall Plaza, those people will be ticketed. What they want to do along the Canyon of Heroes is open that up for thousands of people that they are expecting will want to come out and be able to celebrate the inauguration of the new mayor as well. Now, how many people are going to be coming out? We don't know. There are several numbers that are being tossed around.
Okay.
One number that I'm hearing is as many as 40,000 spectators could end up showing up here to be along the Canyon of Heroes, to be able to be a part of that on January 1st. But, Sharon, I did hear you talk about it. You can't just show up. You have to RSVP, and you do it on Mamdani's team's website. So again, people can go to that website, all the information that you need to RSVP and to tell you what you're allowed to bring and what you're not allowed to bring. All of that information is on there for you. Another thing, though, I have to tell you that's really interesting is that, the mayor-elect has vowed to disband what is called the Strategic Response Group within the NYPD.
Yep.
And the acronym, they're very commonly known as SRG. Now, what this specialized unit does is they show up at any major event. They are deployed to any major event by the NYPD to provide an extra layer of security and also to protect people in the event that there is a shooting or there is some type of a protest that suddenly breaks out and gets out of control. Okay, so that's what their duty is. And they go to every parade. They're deployed to every parade. They are deployed, like, for example, on New Year's Eve, the dropping of the ball in Times Square. In addition to protests and demonstrations that happen around the city. Now, one of the things is that Zoran Mamdani and a lot of the people who supported him, they are opposed to the SRG because they didn't like the way that the unit responded to protesters during the pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel protests, as well as the George Floyd protests that happened in 2020 after the pandemic. I mean, during the pandemic.
That's right.
They didn't like their response. So the mayor-elect has vowed to disband that group, that unit. Whether or not he actually ends up doing that, we don't know. But the irony of it is that the SRG will likely be deployed and will be deployed for his inauguration because it's another layer of security for any mayor of the city.
And
so the very group that he wants to disband and something he needs. And not just him, but other New Yorkers. If you're expecting tens of thousands, and that's what they say could show up here, the NYPD says you need this group in order to keep things in control and to be there in the event that things get out of control.
Yeah, it's a good point, and it's one of the reasons that he's moving from his rent-controlled apartment in a rent-stabilized apartment in Astoria to Gracie Mansion because of threats against he and his family, and of course he needs the security. I want to leave Linda, you on a high note. I have a question for you.
Oh, yes.
Mamdani's being sworn in. You ready? Okay. Mamdani is being sworn in on January 1st. We haven't talked at all about the ball drop and New Year's Eve, and I'm just wondering if some of those revelers might just stick around and sleep in the street until it's time for the next party to happen. I don't know. But, it seems like just about the time they clear out one crowd, another one's coming in. It could be the same people. I don't know.
They got to move south. You know what? You never know. But the revelers, in Times Square, they're having a great time. I don't know if you've ever been there for the dropping of the ball. Isn't it an amazing experience?
It is amazing. It is amazing, and it is jam-packed.
I loved it.
Jam-packed. So,
Yeah.
in fact, I've been every year for the last 15 years. This is the first year I won't be there, but that's okay. I'll be watching it on TV.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great event here in the city.
All right, Linda, thank you so much for the important information and the update. We appreciate it. And we look forward to watching your story tonight at 10 o'clock on Channel 5.
Okay, see you guys later.
Bye, Linda. Bye, Gus. See ya. All right, keep it right here. We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, as promised, it's time for some holiday cheer. Look at this spectacular display from the DiMartino family. You are looking at a light display on Staten Island, and it has extra special meaning this Christmas. A husband is using it to honor the memory of his late wife who died on 9/11, as well as raise money and take donations for pediatric cancer research. It's in Rossville, Staten Island. I hope I'm saying that right. Teresa Priola was there to give us an eyeful, if you will, and she also interviewed the man who created this. So we're going to hear a little bit of his interview right now. Brian?
After 9/11, I wanted to do something to remember my late wife. And I said, you know what? I want to start putting lights up. And the little lights became big lights, and it just kept growing each and every year. And then finally I says, let's start raising money and donate it to sick children, because Christmas is for kids, and why not help sick children? So at that time, my late wife's sister worked for the Staten Island University Hospital. So she teamed up with my sister-in-law. So she said, Joe, why don't you give it to the hospital? And we got the ball rolling with the hospital. They got on board. And every year we raise more and more money. And we're over $500,000 in donations since we started this. Now, the first year we only raised $1,636. Since then, it's grown to $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Now, last year was $82,620. Now we have sponsors that companies come in and families come in and they sponsor each piece. And the hospital makes these placards that they put up on each piece. And so to honor their late wives or people that aren't dead, it's just businesses, you know. And it's just grown each and every year.
All right, that was lovely. What a lovely sentiment. Let's take another look as we close out our streaming show here on Newsroom Live. Let's take one more look at that elaborate and fabulous light display in Staten Island. Just beautiful. Again, he's did it in honor of his late wife who died on 9/11. And so look at the skaters. That is a lot of work, right? Awesome. And again, it's all for a good cause too. It's not just to look at something great this holiday season. You can also donate to pediatric cancer research to help sick children. But there must be a line down the sidewalk. You can see some kids there really enjoying it. The whole neighborhood comes out. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me on Newsroom Live. I'm Sharon Crowley.
Thanks for watching Fox 5's Newsroom Live. We're now joining Live Now's non-stop stream of live and breaking news.
I just want to ask, can you tell us any more about this briefing potentially rebated to you? And also, do you accept there's been a massive failure of firearms licensing throughout the process that he can apply for and be accepted on the same day? The bloke done that he later used just months later.
Yeah, look, I mean, I would say I accept there's been failures across the board. I mean, I would give anything to ensure that we didn't have Sunday again. I mean, or to stop it from happening in the first place. So I don't think we have to go into this Royal Commission, these inquiries, with humility. That's from me right through the New South Wales government. The only thing we can do about yesterday is learn from it, but I'm determined that we do that. The second point about the delay in relation to the granting of a licence, the latest information that we have is that there was a real mess in relation to the bureaucracy when it comes to gun licences, and the delay is related to that, not a specific threat. That's the latest information that we have, but as it updates or if it changes, of course we'll let the public know.
Is it related to COVID?
I don't think so, not to my knowledge, but you know, I'm answering these questions in the context of releasing information. Also aware that there needs to be a full inquiry into everything that's happened so that we don't have the same mistakes.
The protest laws give the government power